Hello and welcome to instruction A.14. In this instruction, I just quickly want to show you a useful software called KingDraw. Not necessarily that you will use it as much in the physical chemistry course, but it will be quite useful for your organic and inorganic chemistry courses, even though organic has passed, but for whatever it's worth. So if you're continuing on with chemistry, or even if you're in biochemistry, it might prove useful. And if you're continuing on with chemistry, it will prove significantly more useful as you go along with report writing and so forth. But I'll show you some of its uses for the physical chemistry course, as well as some of its features, and so that you can at least start playing around with it. So when you need to use it, you will be familiar with it. So essentially, you start here in your practical guide. You want to go here to the link that I provide, and you want to download it for your PC. You can also download the mobile device or the mobile app. And there's also, if you go to the downloads tab, there's all the versions. There's also versions for iOS, for iPads, for Macs, etc. Some Android versions, so you can do it for a tablet or so forth. And like I said, the historic versions that you can download. So once you've downloaded it, then you can go to your desktop. You can open it, or of course you install it first. So I've already installed it, and then it should take you to a page as such. You can register. If you register, then you're going to have access to some functionalities in the program, which you might not necessarily have access to if you do not register. And I would advise you to use your student email address to register, just because that's normally what we do with our student email address for any spam or whatever reasons. Anyway, right, so once you're at this page, you just say new, and then it takes you to something like this. And here you can see you can draw your line structures one by one. You can draw something like benzene. You can add it to the end of that. If you can say Control Z, you just undo what you've done. You can add stereochemistry to whatever you've drawn. You can label. So, taking that little A, you can say, I want to make that, I don't know, you want to make that phosphorus atom. You can select the entire molecule and then you can drag it around. Or if you want to go to the periodic table and you want to select something else and you want that, for example, then you can select that and you can make it sulfur. And then it also tells you, right, that needs to be something else. So you need sulfur needs 4 bonds, so you need to change that. Okay. You can also do reaction arrows. So if you click on that, then you see there's different reaction arrows that you have. You have your Kilobra arrows. You have things that do like your organic reactions you can draw out with this. So for example, if you had a lone pair there, you could show, this attacks, like if this were a nucleophile, it would attack something else, whatever. Or, if there's just a reaction proceeding to the right, you can do that, and you can then scale the arrow according to whatever you would like. And there's different arrows. So if you don't like that arrow, for example, I don't like that one, I like this one more, then you have this, and it leads to whatever your product was. Let's say this is the product, whatever. And you can then, add whatever you want. You play around here. There's only a few fonts available. There's things like symbols. A symbol is, for example, if you say here a capital letter D, it gives you a delta, or like, the delta symbol, which is normally used for heat in reactions, that kind of thing. You can then scale it or whatever. There's also things like degrees Celsius or an actual delta. This just ensures that if when you're typing and you type a number, then it will then automatically subscript it for you. This you can manually subscript something. So if you unclick that and you type in VCH2 and you have a 2 there, you see it's not subscripted, but if I click on that and then type the 2, then it subscripts it for me, whereas that one is going to superscript it for me. Italicize and all those kinds of things. Right, so that's just a few of the features that it has. This, of course, means to rotate it. Right, so that's just playing around with it. There's a bunch of features here that you can draw things with. You can draw arcs, you can draw circles, wavy bond lengths. There's also a few things on orbitals. So if you want to draw in an orbital, for example, you want to show how the orbitals line up in a bond. For example, if you're doing a double bond and you wanted to show how two p orbitals sit on your double bond. Let's just get the p orbital again. So here we have a p orbital and a p orbital, and then we could show how they overlap by taking the arch and we scale it a bit, and we make it nice. Then you can make some nice qualitative drawings on how this kind of thing works. Right, so that's how we make these drawings. Essentially, we use something called KingDraw, but now you can use something called KingDraw. Right, essentially what you'll be using it for, so you see there's much more application in organic or inorganic chemistry. You're going to learn something about complexes, so you're going to draw complexes in there, and polyhedra, and whatever, which you can use it for, or you can even have your templates like that. But what I wanted to show you is, let's say, for example, you had a reaction scheme that you wanted to say, you know what, you're just lazy and you wanted to type, and you said CH3, that, CH3, CH2, CH2, OH, right? And then you say, that's probably a plus that we need, so plus something, I don't know, HCl, and then we have an arrow. Now you're probably like, oh my goodness, this is not aligned or anything. We'll sort that out just now. Gives us something else. It gives us water. You see, so it makes writing chemical formula much easier, and it's going to give us an alkene. Right, so anyway, point is, gives us product. I just wanted to get to this point. And we can highlight all these things, and then there's going to be options that you can use to align them. So we say we want to align the bottom edges, so we've just aligned them all, or you want to align their centers, so then they group all in the middle. So if you want to align something in the middle, you can do things like that. You can also the top bottom center, so that's the perfect one that we want. Then there is a auto distribution, so in other words that everything distributes itself nicely, and then you have a perfectly written reaction equation with everything nicely distributed throughout. Okay, so now the nice feature about this is you can copy this to your Word file. So this is your document, but anyway, now you're in your Word file wherever you want to be. So you have this, you have centered it nicely, and then you just say, so all I've done here is in this document, I've selected it, I've said Control-C, gone to my Word document, and I said Control-V for paste, and then I pasted it in. Right, and the great thing about this, that something like ChemSketch does not have, for example, is that you can edit this now. So if you double click on your pasted version in Word, you can go edit this. So let's say, for example, you realize, oh my goodness, this shouldn't just say product, it should actually say CH3, CH2, CH2. That's what it should say, and I want to close it again. Then you see in real time, it updates in your document as well. Okay, which is kind of nice and useful. Also, of course, you can change these colors and all those things, but you can go play around with it. Now, you can make some qualitative drawings. You can copy in pictures, whatnot. There's a 3D function, there's a naming function, there's so much in here, which I really don't want to go through, but you can go through it on your own. So learn this. It works the same as the what you call it KingDraw, which is the licensed version, which is the actual version that we use in for our writing. So if you learn this, then you'll be able to use that one there quite easily. All right, so I hope this was useful, informative, that you can see there's some sort of use in learning this or making use of this, and it's going to have some application for you later on, and that you use this to write your reports, and so that you don't struggle with your equations or reaction equations and whatnot in your reports. And I hope from the assignment that you've learned that I would prefer to have nicely written equations and whatnot in your reports, and not handwritten equations. Or in fact, you should not have handwritten equations at all, because it is specified in your guide that all documents need to be uploaded in, to turn it in as a PDF, should be typed up in Microsoft Word and saved as a PDF file. So there's no handwritten stuff that is accepted. So now you have all the tools. You've been taught Word, Excel, and some software that will help you in all these cases. All right. So good luck, and I hope you enjoy all your software endeavors.